It has been hailed as Brad Garlinghouse's greatest interview to date. America pauses and reflects. Ellen or Tarrant asked Brad all the important questions. We will watch the highlights of the interview. I will provide you with real-time commentary. I haven't seen this in months and months and months. I am eagerly anticipating this. I was convinced that we would get some Brad Garlinghouse material. My all-time favorite thing is this. You are aware of that deep down. I'd really like to speak with Brad. My main purpose for this service is to do that. One day it will grow sufficiently. Let's get right to it, guys. XRP is the foundation of what Ripple does, as you stated in a recent tweet. Could you agree on your meaning? First, I believe we can all agree on one thing, even though I don't understand this. Crypto Twitter contains a lot of misleading and occasionally dangerous information. That's not good for anyone, not in my opinion. Some people, I believe, try to give the impression that Ripple has given up on XRP. That doesn't make sense, all right, for a variety of reasons, really. Making it obvious is one of them. To be clear, I already stated that when we consider G Treasury, that tweet was intended to be liked from my perspective. Ripple is interested in participating in the Treasury management system. Now, we may include features like Ripple payments. Stable currencies are used in some Ripple transfers, whereas XRP is used in others, and that depends on the currency pair, the corridor, and other factors. Our goal is to provide the greatest goods at the best price to the consumer. Additionally, such coin may occasionally be steady. That may not always be the case. And individuals, I mean, to be honest, some of them aren't widely known to your viewers. For a moment in the early half of 23, Ripple was moneying 20% of all USDC. Since we were examining business payment flows, we had to take that action. USDC was used. Additionally, the USDC was utilized. I don't look at the world and say, well, we're not maximalists for XRP. I don't think, well, we're not XRP maximalists when I look at the world. Each technology and solution will have its own chain. I believe we should begin with it. And by us, I mean the entire cryptocurrency industry. What issue are we trying to resolve for this individual? It's like, hey, I have a technology. If we try, I want to use it with just one client. That's not how a consumer would consider it. The client is experiencing difficulties. How can the appropriate technology be used? The addition of more XRP is simple. Each transaction costs relatively little and it's quick. That likely makes some things worse and others better. All right, no problem. Ripple will employ various tools at such periods. However, if Ripple is able to process payments totaling tens of billions, hundreds of billions, or even trillions of dollars, many bucks, that's fantastic. However, the pie is still expanding rapidly even if XRP does not have a 100% portion of it. I'm happy that this is a wonderful place to be. Brad Garlinghouse is simply expressing everything. Certain technologies will function better with stable coins. Certain technologies will function better with XRP, while others will function better with other devices they use. In light of this, I don't mind if you tell us that and sort of correct the record. Deep down, XRP has always played a significant role in Ripple's operations and always will. All right, folks, let's continue our conversation. Come on. I appreciate you reading. Please leave a comment below if you appreciate what you see. Let me know your thoughts on this discussion. All right, I would like to hear from you. What are you aware of? It's quieter now. I will eventually come to adore the XRP army. We had been attacked. Thus we have, by which I don't merely mean the air, the entire the world. There are certain persons who firmly believe in their beliefs. I'm okay with that. As long as they are truthful, helpful, and refrain from disseminating information, I believe it's acceptable for individuals to disagree with me. Sincerely, I try to help. Working together, rather than fighting over my share of the pie, will benefit the entire company, in my opinion. Naturally, pause to think about the size of the pie. Naturally, I find this to be very intriguing because the XRP, many organizations or individuals create tokens which they could create a family group or whatever we want to call it because they are highly devoted and vocal. What do you believe sparked and caused them? What have you done to support Ripple in general or in particular? I'm quite interested in this question. Here's the answer, if I may. I'm quite intrigued as well. However, I'm afraid I won't be able to respond to you effectively. I think further research should be done on this. After all, it's fascinating because I attended Harvard Business School and discovered that you conduct case studies on various topics. I think that would be fascinating. I am unsure of the precise response. I do believe that people want to support the victim, They wish to applaud the loser. You should also be aware that Ripple has always had a slightly distinct perspective on cryptocurrency. Proof of work is not used in the verification process for XRP transactions. That led to a great deal of controversy that went against the grain. The books were dispersed in a unique and contentious manner. Hey, let's collaborate with banks was the decision. Yes, exactly. XRP was once referred as the bank coin. All of those things were incorrect at the time. Yes, the group has become stronger as a result of the SEC and some of the current players attacking it. In my opinion, Ripple has always made an effort to be very transparent about our position within the X community and the amount of XRP we own. Once more, this seems a bit strange to me. It's really distressing that the SEC employed so many different tactics against us. We were the most honest. Clarity is what the SEC wants. Some cryptocurrency isn't even clear. The SEC is suing us because we are transparent and truthful. You enter sign up and depart the well-informed warning. Yes, there were a lot of extremely bothersome things about that. It appears that neither our government nor that portion of that organization are operating in good faith. For your information, I didn't bring attorneys with me when I visited the SEC to discuss our tool usage. I'm not sure how much this I've told you. Nobody said that these were stocks. However, you have been talking about your work for years. Hey, we think XRP might be a security. was never said to me. Perhaps you ought to alter your approach. Oh, and years later, I sued Ripple as well myself, since you have to know that someone did something unlawful in order to suit them directly. Despite being aware of the security breach, I nevertheless took action, and in that manner, well, they continued. You didn't even know it was a security, and that was simply cruel. Although we had the strength to sort of fight that battle, and fortunately Ripple is in a position where it can do that, I do not believe that is ever how our government should cooperate. Since this type of regime transition, have you interacted well with Chirac and the other members of the task force? Many licensed or trafficked materials have been released by you. What topics have those discussions covered? Once more, the incident that sort of makes you think differently, I have two short stories to share with you. As previously said, I visited the SEC's offices on multiple occasions before the lawsuit, but it has been 4 or 5 years since I last visited. We were asked to return and speak with the task group. Although returning was a little odd, I can say that the task force was incredibly cordial, helpful, transparent, intelligent, and interested in some of our perspectives due to our experience. Paul Atkins sat down and said, "Hey, I'd love to just chat," which in a sense led to his coming up to me. In addition, I believe that we ought to have a government that, I don't know if Paul Atkins and I agree on everything, but I don't believe we disagreed on anything that came up. He was simply interested in meeting, in my opinion. There is a significant distinction between that and fearing the government. We were unable to meet with government officials for years. Hey, let's learn from each other here. The new chair adds reaching out. A couple of things then. A discussion about the XRP army and how they may assist open the clip. That's how it all began, isn't that correct? How did you find one of the crypto industry's most beneficial groups? The XRP army is a special kind of individuals. The majority of folks don't seem to get what you and I are involved in here, so that we can predict what will occur. That's our opinion. We know how the technology operates. We are aware that banks are motivated to employ this technology due to necessity. People desire more transparent, quicker, and less expensive payments. That hasn't existed for decades. The global ripple and the